In this video, I'm going to talk about everything to do with The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, one big video breaking down everything so far. This is the start of the end of Rick's story, so I wanted to make this video to tell you what I think of it, what I think is going to happen, how the show will end, and answer those questions people have had. Of course, make sure you press the like button and subscribe if you're new. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, will Rick Grimes actually lose his hand? Well, there's all sorts of stuff like rumours and leaks of him having a hand prosthetic on set, which, yeah, similar to Mel Dixon, and Aaron, he's got something to replace his hand.
How's about a big hug for your old pal?
There's mix-ups on which shots in the trailer show him without his hand. There's this one of people saying he's got a hammer on his hand, but it's just his hand, and he's got a metal constraint around his wrist. But then in this final trailer they released, you actually do see he is missing his left hand. It's covered up. I mean, that could be him just having a bandage on it from getting burnt from those walkers that were on fire, but so far these are the only shots where you cannot see his left hand. So that's why this scene here is still so important, because this is why he would get rid of his hand, to escape that metal constraint. So do I think he will lose his hand? Yeah, but I don't like it. The Walking Dead shows have made me hate when a character loses a hand. It just comes across as laziness now, and just blatantly doing it for a shocking scene. And it's other times they've done this in the Walking Dead shows that you kind of see straight through it, you know, just some annoying, lazy, throwaway thing for shock.
So I'm gonna keep asking until you let me have a look.
Rick has also shown that he's ambidextrous, which of course means you're left and right-handed. You see what I mean? It's not like they're even disabling him in doing it. Now, of course, a reason for Rick losing it is in the comics, Rick lost his hand. So this is one thing, one step closer to him getting to that point he was in the comics. So he could absolutely still get his comic death. Like, he could very much still end up at the Commonwealth and get all of that, even though in the comics it was the governor that cut his hand off. And the next thing is, when do I think Michonne and Rick will reunite? Well, the first 3 episodes are called Days Gone By, of course referencing the first ever episode of the main show, which is cool. The first 3 episodes referencing the beginning, and then in the trailer you hear Rick actually talking to Michonne.
It's a broken world, Michonne.
With him talking to Michonne, it could be like a walkie-talkie thing, or talking on a radio, but no, I think by the end of episode 3, or just in episode 4, they will have reunited, but just within the CRM. So I think by the end of episode 3, Michonne will let herself be captured by the CRM to then get taken to Rick, or at least a step closer to Rick. So episode 4, I would think that's where Michonne is reunited with him, but escaping is a whole different thing. It's not going to be easy, clearly. The people that were involved in this show have said something really shocking happens at the end of it, so straight away you might think crossover or Rick dies. But I think the main catch of this show is, although Rick and Michonne reunite, or nearly reunite, in the end they're separated again. Rick forced to be a soldier, Michonne stuck in cleanup. I mean, think about it, Rick's probably been here a few years at the point of a scene like this to actually achieve that rank. Michonne, having just arrived, will be stuck there. Back in World Beyond, there were characters seeing ranking up like that as some distant daydream. You know, like, why would some janitor be able to become a soldier for this place?
RF, like CR's research facility.
When you get there one day, maybe as a guard, but that place can change everything.
And that was a different place under the CRM. Where Rick and Michonne are, as I've said, it's got to be a lot more powerful. Also, remember when Silas was caught trying to escape and Jada spoke to him? We're seeing in the trailer she likely does that same thing with Rick when he tries it.
You got strong feet. They tell you why they took your boots?
They said it was, so I wouldn't run.
I imagine there will be like a Silas appearance as well. And weirdly, seeing Rick seeing that would be quite cool. In this scene, she's clearly chasing Michonne. I think by the end of this car chase, she's gonna kill Jadis. And to be honest, at that point, not a moment too soon. In this car chase scene, there's a really quick shot of these walkers that look like failed experiments. Now remember, that's not a theory anymore. That's what the CRM do. Jadis has done all these horrible things now. She has become this delusional villain. I wouldn't be surprised if this is where Jadis gets a really horrible fate of just being eaten by these acid-burning walkers. Something that I think could save Jadis from that is she renamed herself Jadis Stokes after Gabriel Stokes. So is that her being kept alive to later reunite with him? Because obviously going to see the main show characters again at some point. Is that a due reunion if she still thinks about Gabriel, or later even plans to see him again?
You are one of us. Thanks to you. And Rick and Morgan, you're the ones that reached out to me.
Or is the story that she moved away and died, and he just finds out about it later? Does that even matter to the people writing it? Remember, Gabriel and Negan were both nearly traded, and they never spoke about it again. So if it's not important to them, I'm not going to make it important to me. But I think what can be good with Jadis is her being all delusional, Rick just standing there watching her, shocked. Similar to if he had met Alpha. You know, this knowing that he can't get through to her. No doubt he will try and call her Anne, and she will look at him completely detached and say, "My name's Jadis." One of the best shots of that first trailer is this one. This certainly matches that more dark imagery that first ever teaser trailer for the Rick Grimes Return project suggested we'd get. You know, before they started saying this was some epic love story now with Rick and Michonne, Scott Gimple actually compared it to the likes of Logan, you know, seeing this damaged version of this character, and there's Rick holding a bullet against his head because of what he's had to do, or is about to do. Remember, these CRM soldiers aren't actually really good people. They were good people, but then they're brainwashed to do all sorts of stuff that they don't want to do, and when you fight against that, you get punished.
I don't think I'll ever be ready to serve again.
Then you won't be leaving the complex.
That's why the Bill character asks Rick, do you want to kill or do you want to die?
Do you want to kill or do you want to die?
Look in my eyes, sir. You tell me.
It looks like Rick's been through all of that, but now he's doing what they say to end up in all this CRM gear. We're seeing him in the highest possible rank of a CRM soldier. We didn't even see this in World Beyond where they killed people. I don't think he is going to do it, but it's almost like he's considering taking himself to Belize.
Belize?
Yeah, Belize. Off on a trip to, Belize.
So, you better not be saying what I think you're saying.
I don't think that's how they would kill Rick. I also don't think it's fair to say that's out of character because, you know, when anyone gets to that point, it's out of character. You just don't know what he's been through. He's been missing for over 7 years in the story. Possibly even more with the extremely vague timeline of the other spin-off shows. So the pain in Rick's story isn't just about being kept away from his family. It's about what he's had to do, what he's had no choice to do. It's do it or die. We also see a lot more of that big herd that was blocking Michonne in the main show finale. This is almost definitely the CRM that are doing it, and it looks as if it's been formed to block off certain states. I mean, imagine if Rick did manage to escape the CRM, he would have all this to deal with. It would certainly make the 7-year time he's been away make much more sense. Which brings us on to, is this really just 6 episodes? I hope not, because that would be really stupid. Shortly after the show was first announced, the writers actually said to Entertainment Weekly an ongoing 6-episode series, and now in the trailers it says new series. Oddly, the only time I've heard 6-episode limited series is from Andrew Lincoln. Now, I've always leaned towards Rick dying at the end of the story, but I don't think it should happen at the end of this show or end of this season. I think it's a bit weird for them to call it The Ones Who Live if Rick doesn't live. I don't like that quote anyway, so at least don't let the quote lose its value. I think it's always been a given that Rick and Daryl will reunite. It's not even a question, is it? It's silly. Also, Terry O'Quinn being in it as like the big villain right now is amazing. He was really, really good in Lost. Really good actor. I remember Scott Gimple said in an interview that he was a fan of Lost, so that's obviously why he's the big villain in this. He's going to be really good though. If you had told me years back that he was going to be in The Walking Dead, killing zombies, talking to Rick Grimes, oh, that's so cool. But this is what I think about The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he really will lose his hand? Is this just him having it bandaged up? Do you even want him to lose his hand? And do you think the show will be good? Let me know what you think down below. And make sure you watch my What If Rick Grimes Stayed video. What really would have happened if Rick had just stayed in the show? In this video you see him take on the Whisperers and the Commonwealth. What was always meant to happen. Of course, press the like button on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.